The first thing I noticed was the handwriting. Curved, deliberate, painfully familiar. Like a ghost signing its own name. The envelope bore no return address. Only my name. Ethan Calloway. Her hand, without a doubt. I'd watched those same strokes spell out "I love you" on birthday cards, grocery lists, and the last note she ever left me before she walked out. Inside. Thick ivory paper. Faintly perfumed with lavender. Evelyn's scent. Elegant print. Black ink and chilling composure. You are cordially invited to the funeral of Evelyn Grace Calloway. Date Saturday, October 8th. Location, Willowmere Estate, 7 p.m. Dress code black. I stared for a full minute, heart pounding. My mind rejected it before it even processed what it meant. Evelyn dead? No, it couldn't be. She was too dramatic, too alive. This wasn't her handwriting from grief. It was deliberate. Like a signature on a performance. Ethan. Melissa's voice came from the kitchen, soft and hesitant, as if she could already sense the ghost that had arrived in the mail. I turned, trying to swallow the nausea twisting my stomach. It's from her, I said simply. Her face paled. Her? Evelyn. I nodded and handed her the invitation. Melissa's manicured nails trembled slightly as she took it. She read in silence, her throat tightening. I didn't think she'd... She began, then stopped, pressing the card back into my hand. We have to go. There was something in her tone. Not guilt, not exactly. Fear maybe. Or recognition. I wanted to ask what she meant, but she'd already turned back toward the sink, pretending to be busy. Saturday came with rain. The kind that doesn't pour. It lingers, whispering against the glass, filling the world with gray. Willowmere Estate sat outside town, past the hills where Evelyn and I used to drive after fights. It had been her grandmother's place. Sprawling gardens, arched gates, a house with ivy crawling up its ribs like veins. We drove there in silence. Melissa's diamond earrings caught flashes of lightning, each glint a reminder of what came after Evelyn. The new life, the cleaner one, or so I'd told myself. When we arrived, I noticed something strange. No cars in the driveway. Only ours and one black hearse parked by the front steps. Where is everyone? Melissa whispered. The front door was open. Candlelight flickered inside, golden and trembling. A faint scent of lilies, Evelyn's favorite, floated through the damp air. Maybe we're early, I said, though I already knew it wasn't that. Inside, the house was almost exactly as I remembered. The same portraits on the walls, the same chandelier that hung like a frozen storm. Except it was cleaner now, obsessively so. Every surface gleamed. Every candle was placed with geometric precision. And at the center of the grand room stood a casket. White. Closed. I froze. My lungs forgot their function. Melissa's hand found my arm, trembling. Ethan, maybe we shouldn't. Then a voice echoed from the upper staircase. I'm so glad you came. We turned. Evelyn stood at the top of the stairs, alive, radiant, and utterly calm. Her black dress draped like silk smoke, her hair swept up, her lips painted blood red. She descended the steps with the slow confidence of someone who had waited for this moment, who had rehearsed every second. Evelyn, I whispered. She smiled faintly. You didn't think I'd leave without saying goodbye, did you? Melissa's breath hitched beside me. You're alive. Evelyn's gaze flicked to her, cold and measured. Very much so. But not everyone will be, by the end of tonight. A chill ran through me. Evelyn, what is this? Closure, she said simply. For all of us. We followed her into the dining room, where a long table was set for three. 3 plates. 3 glasses. 3 candles already lit. Sit, she instructed. We did, out of fear, curiosity, guilt, or something nameless. She poured wine for each of us, her movements fluid and graceful. You remember this vintage, Ethan? 2015 Bordeaux. The one we opened after your first big case. I nodded, throat dry. Melissa looked like she wanted to leave, but Evelyn's eyes pinned her in place. Drink, she said. Melissa hesitated, then took a small sip. I followed. The wine was rich, sweet, and laced with memory. Do you remember? Evelyn began softly. How I found out? I didn't answer. She smiled faintly. Of course you don't. You never paid attention to the details, did you? She reached into her dress pocket and placed something on the table. A photograph. It was of Melissa and me. Taken through a window. My hand on Melissa's back, her lips inches from mine. The date written neatly in the corner, 9 months before the divorce. Melissa inhaled sharply. Evelyn, please. Don't, Evelyn cut in. You had your turn to talk. Now it's mine. She poured more wine, the liquid staining her hand like blood. When I married you, Ethan, I thought I understood betrayal. I thought it was something people did when they fell out of love. But you taught me it can happen while love is still there. Festering, breathing, pretending. Her eyes flicked toward Melissa. And you were supposed to be my friend. My sister and everything but blood. Do you know how cruel it is to steal not just a man, but the years that belong to someone else? Melissa's voice cracked. It wasn't like that. You were gone, Evelyn. You shut him out. I shut him out because he was already halfway to your bed, Evelyn said quietly. Don't rewrite history to soothe your conscience. Her composure cracked slightly then. A tremor in her hands, a flash of grief in her eyes. I leaned forward. Evelyn, what do you want from us? She smiled faintly. Nothing you can give. But something you can feel. Outside, thunder rumbled. The lights flickered. Somewhere deep in the house, a door creaked open. Melissa's gaze darted toward the sound. Is someone else here? Evelyn didn't answer. She simply raised her glass, toasting us both. To endings. We clinked glasses, or rather she did. We were too stunned to move. Then slowly she took a seat. And for the next half hour we sat in silence. The kind that presses against your ribs, thick and suffocating. It was Melissa who broke first. Evelyn, please. I know I hurt you, but this isn't healthy. Let us go. Let yourself go. Evelyn tilted her head. Do you really think I'd invite you here just to forgive you? Melissa's breath caught. Evelyn smiled again, soft, almost tender. You always did underestimate me. The clock struck 8. And that was when I noticed the faint hum beneath the table. A low electric vibration. Steady, unnatural. Evelyn, I said slowly. What did you do? Her gaze lingered on the casket in the next room. Do you want to know who it's for? Before either of us could answer, the lights went out. Darkness swallowed the room. The only glow came from the candles, their flames trembling like frightened hearts. Evelyn's voice floated through the dark. Calm, measured, terrifyingly gentle. Death is never the punishment. It's the release. The real punishment is knowing who deserves it. A scream cut through the dark, sharp, sudden. Then silence. When the lights came back on, the room was chaos. One of the candles had fallen, wine spilled like blood across the tablecloth, and Melissa was standing, gasping, her face drained of all color. Evelyn. What the hell was that? I shouted, my chair scraping against the floor as I stood. But Evelyn wasn't looking at me. She was watching Melissa, studying her reaction. The faintest smirk touched her lips, like she just confirmed something she'd suspected all along. Interesting, she murmured. Melissa's voice broke. You're insane. Maybe, Evelyn said softly, but insanity has its moments of clarity. She rose, moving slowly around the table, fingertips grazing the edge like she was feeling the vibration of something invisible. You see, Ethan, when someone dies, they say the soul lingers, stays close to what it can't let go of. Pain, guilt, unfinished stories. She paused behind Melissa, her breath almost brushing her neck. I'm just here to finish mine. Melissa flinched away. You can't scare me with theatrics, Evelyn. I know you're all drama and guilt trips. You're not capable of. A loud thud cut her off. Somewhere deep inside the house. Heavy. Final. Evelyn's gaze flicked toward the sound. Right on time. My heart kicked painfully in my chest. What's going on? She didn't answer right away. She walked back toward the casket in the next room. The candlelight made her skin gleam, pale and almost ethereal. Do you want to see who it's for? She asked again, looking over her shoulder at us. Melissa shook her head violently. No, I'm leaving. She took a step back, but Evelyn's voice snapped like a whip. You owe me this much. Melissa froze. Her chin trembled. Evelyn turned to me, eyes glistening. Not with tears, but something deeper. Sadness dressed as calm. You especially should understand closure, Ethan. You always demanded the last word. She unlatched the casket lid. Slowly. Inside wasn't a body. It was a mirror. Not a normal one. A tall, old mirror from our former bedroom. Its silver surface reflected us all. Evelyn poised like a statue, Melissa trembling, and me, caught between guilt and disbelief. For a moment none of us spoke. Then Evelyn said quietly, "This is the funeral. Not for me. For what you both did. For what we were. Look at yourselves." Her voice broke slightly. "Look at what you turned me into." Melissa shook her head. "You can't hold on like this. You're sick. You need help." Evelyn's laughter came soft, hollow, and exhausted. "Oh, I did. Therapy, pills, meditation, all the things people tell you to do when your world collapses. But none of them could bring me peace. You know what finally did?" Her eyes gleamed. "Understanding that I didn't lose you, Ethan, you lost me. And she pointed to Melissa. She never had you. She just borrowed your emptiness." I stood there, my throat raw. "Evelyn, please. I made mistakes. But you can't fix pain with more pain." She looked at me for a long, unbearable second. "You think this is about fixing it?" She turned, picked up a small remote from the table and clicked it. The faint hum I'd heard earlier roared to life beneath the floor. The chandelier above us trembled. The ground itself seemed to buzz. Melissa screamed, grabbing my arm. "What did you do?" Evelyn's expression was oddly peaceful. "Nothing you wouldn't have done to me. Trap me, make me stay, force me to watch." The house shuddered once. Then stopped. The hum faded. Silence. Evelyn's shoulders slumped. For a moment she looked human again. "Don't worry," she whispered. "It's not a bomb. I thought about that once. But death is too easy." She moved to the wall, flipping on a set of hidden lights. One by one, the curtains fell open, revealing the walls behind them, covered in photographs. Hundreds. Melissa gasped. Every inch of the walls was plastered with images of her and me. At restaurants, outside hotels, kissing in her car. Our faces blurry but unmistakable. "I hired a private investigator the moment I felt you slipping away," Evelyn said softly. "At first, I just wanted the truth. But truth isn't always enough." Melissa's voice cracked. "You've been following us?" Evelyn nodded slowly. "I watched how easily you both erased me. How effortlessly you built something out of my ruin. So I planned this." She gestured to the table, the casket, the lights. "A wake for your honesty. A funeral for my weakness." Tears spilled down her cheeks, though her smile never wavered. "I needed you to see what dying looks like while still breathing." I took a hesitant step toward her. "Evelyn, you don't have to do this. Let it go. Please." Her eyes softened. For a brief second, the woman I'd once loved flickered through the rage. "You know the thing about funerals, Ethan? They're not for the dead. They're for the living." Melissa lunged suddenly, snatching the remote from Evelyn's hand. "You're insane," she shouted, pressing random buttons. A piercing alarm filled the house. Evelyn didn't flinch. "Stop," I shouted, grabbing Melissa's wrist. But before I could, the chandelier sparked and plunged the room into darkness again. For a long moment there was only chaos, shouts, footsteps, the crackle of electricity. Then a single sound cut through it all. A gunshot. When the emergency lights flickered back on, Evelyn was standing still, a small revolver in her hand, the barrel smoking. Melissa had collapsed against the wall, clutching her shoulder, crying out in pain. "Oh my God!" I ran to her, pressing my hands over the wound. Blood seeped through my fingers. "Evelyn, what the hell have you done?" Evelyn's face was pale but eerily calm. "I didn't kill her. I just wanted her to remember what it feels like to be helpless." I glared up at her. "You're going to prison for this." She smiled sadly. "Maybe. But you'll go there first, in your head." She raised the gun again, but not at us. At the mirror. One shot. The glass shattered into 1,000 glittering pieces. The reflection broke apart, scattering our faces into fragments. Evelyn dropped the gun, her hand trembling. "That," she whispered, "was me letting go." The sirens wailed in the distance. Someone must have called from the estate grounds. Melissa whimpered, bleeding but alive. I tore off my jacket, pressed it against her wound, and looked back at Evelyn. She was standing in front of the mirror shards, her reflection splintered into dozens of versions of herself. Smiling, crying, hollow. "I thought revenge would make me feel better," she said softly. "It doesn't. It just makes the silence louder. I took a slow step toward her, unsure whether to comfort or condemn. Evelyn. She looked at me one last time, her eyes glimmering with something that wasn't anger anymore, just exhaustion. Don't come near me, she whispered. You already buried me once. And before I could reach her, she turned, walked to the open doors of the veranda, and stepped into the rain. The storm swallowed her figure, the black of her dress vanishing into the night. By the time the police arrived, she was gone. No footprints on the wet grass, no sign of her car, no trace of where she went. Just the lingering scent of lavender and the echoes of a funeral that was never real. Except for what it killed inside all three of us. Weeks later, I got another envelope in the mail. No return address. Inside, a single photograph. A shot of the shattered mirror at Willowmere, the three reflections frozen mid-fragment. On the back, written in that same elegant hand. Some funerals aren't for the dead. They're for the truth. I still wake up some nights hearing her voice in the rain, soft, steady, unbroken. And I wonder if Evelyn Grace Calloway is truly gone, or if she's still out there, watching us mourn something we never deserved to keep.